Good morning, good morning. Well, late morning. In Vail, we're trying to beat the chain laws. However, though, I do have the equipment now to show chaining up. If we are forced to by the communists, forced to do something. Not too worried about the loads, probably 32,000 pounds, which isn't 42, which that extra 10 makes it kind of rough for climbing in snow. But we're in, like I said, we're in Vail. This guy was right on my butt. Like some big old hurry, and then he just slowly moves over. Was not like being behind the truck syndrome. It's a bit nippy. We got 32 balmy outside, and we had the AC on inside. Well, the AC wasn't actually on. It was just the whatchamacallit, had the temperature turned all the way to cold because the AC was on. We were out in the desert, remember? The Dust Bowl, Dr. Seuss's Dust Bowl. This guy strikes me as soon as he clears his bumper, my bumper, he's got to get over. I hope he doesn't, but you get so used to it, it's like you can almost feel that they're going to do it. But I think we're okay. I think he's going to stand his ground. There's a local Vail plow truck, the town of Vail. A lot of people think that they're skilled drivers, plow truck drivers. They are, to a degree, if they have the experience, but technically they find somebody who has a license and throw them in there. You know, so, you know, types of different plow drivers, just like you have different truck drivers, or truck driver. When we get past this chain station, I'll be happy. I mean, I'm not going to spin out, and if I need to put chains on, absolutely, I'll do it. I just don't like being told that I have to do it, especially when I know I can make it without it. One time they had the chain laws up from mile marker 195 to 190. Those that know their directions, that would be westbound. The higher number first. Anyway, and it was at the top of Vail Pass. 190 is the top of Vail. 195 is down there by Copper Mountain. So it's like 8-9 miles on the west side, and it's only 5 on the east side. But I was like, they had the chain laws up. I saw it, and it was nighttime. I was cruising along, and I'm like, well, where's the chain station? And it was actually before the 195, just before. And of course I missed it, and I'm like, well, shoot, I'm not I'm not going to park on the side of the road because I'm not going to do it. Obvious reasons why. So this guy you got in front of me just slowed down. What's up with that? Oh, you live in Vail. Well, this is 180, so it's about 10 miles. I don't know if plow trucks are going to get on here. So I was like, I'm not going to pull over and put my chains on, so I just kept going. Before I knew it, and that was, I didn't have these type of tires on. They're decent, but not these. And I mean, that hill isn't even a hill. I've said it, and I got it on film. You can view it. It's not that bad. Westbound Vail from Copper. And I got to the top, and I'm like, well, here's 190. Chains can come off. But of course, I didn't have any. The chain laws were in effect. And I drove right past a state trooper sitting on the 190 westbound on-ramp. And you pretty much hear trucks go by, whether they have chains or not. You can hear it. So we got 30 degrees now. And, you know, it can be like this down here, but you get to the top. It's a whole other story. But the chain laws are not in effect, so I'm going to assume that their salt is working. Now, my daughter asked me last night, she's in Denver for her dress fitting for her wedding in June. And she's like, what should I do? It's supposed to snow tomorrow. And I go, when were you planning on leaving? And she was like, around 12 or 1, but I don't know when I should leave. She goes, the snow's going to start falling at 5 o'clock, 5 a.m. And I'm like, just leave when you feel like leaving. You know, I wouldn't worry too much about skier traffic. And so, because it's not the weekend, you'll still have it, but it won't be as bad. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday mornings are hellacious trying to get out of Denver. Anyway, I'm like, the heat of the day, the hottest part of the day, probably be about 2 o'clock. So you go in there between 10 and 2, you'll be fine. Chain laws go up, chain laws go down, and I just use that as a reference. There's cameras, but I just quick glance, because they're going to make a tractor chain up if need be, I guarantee you. And if they're not, then the road's pretty decent. There's no traffic behind me at all, which is a bit odd. Usually they're flying up and you can't move. DEF, diesel exhaust fluid. Refill DEF soon to prevent engine derate. An engine derate is 5 miles an hour. And that's all you can do. Now, how come it's not like this when it's snowing? When there's snow actually on the road? When that happens, I usually have 1,000 cars right next to me. Kind of like a bunch of them little fish hovering around a big whale shark for protection. It works in the ocean, but it doesn't work in real life on the roads. Come on, people. Here they come. See how they come in packs? There's There's a pack of 3 right there. I could have gone through here last night dry. I had 2 hours left of my log. Maybe 2:15 or 2.5, something like that. I don't remember, but I think it was 2.5. But I could have gotten to the top of Eisenhower, and I could have spent the night up there, I suppose. But it had been a lot colder, and the Wabash heater drains the battery quicker when it runs all night long like that. And then after that, there really is no parking until you get to like the bottom of Floyd Hill. I know a few spots there on the top of Floyd Hill before going into Denver. There's a spot. It's really limited. And you know, back in my old days on paper, I'd just drive into town. I would have been about half an hour, 40 minutes out of before my clock ran out. But it was back in the good old days, which I was a holdout. I waited till the late days to run E-Log. I pushed it back as far as I could. And now after running them, I don't mind them. I don't like them. I don't mind them. It's the lazy man's way. Before you had to do the work, you had to do math. It was, you know. I ended up talking to a driver. He was all like, "Oh, my log's messed up." Blah blah blah. And I go, "Just run paper." He never really ran paper, so he was having a hard time. He didn't want to run paper. This road's messed up. You know, and I was like, dude, just run paper. He wouldn't do it. He could have legally done it too. That's the thing. Anyway, it's great for pre-trips and going to a company and setting up. Like I get there, I go on duty, and then I go in the office and they tell me door 5, whatever door it is, and I open the back doors of the trailer, back in, boom, instantly go to sleeper berth, and I go back in the back, turn the TV on, turn the laptop on, and if I know it's going to be a long spot, maybe I'll take a nap. But you know, my time can be like 5 minutes, and in paper you have to show 15 because that was the minimum grid line. That's the minimum amount of time you could show. And the rule was back then that you could round it off. So if you showed up at 8:07, you could have said it was 8:15. You know, so that gave you the flexibility there. But if you had 5 stops, if 15 minutes to stop, that's an hour and 15 minutes. And with this E-Log, I can show 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So it saves you in the long run for the 70, and you need that 70 to be saved so that when you are trying to get home at the end of the week, you have enough time to drive. I mean, how bad would it be to be an hour and a half away from Denver Saturday night and your time doesn't come back till Monday? What do? You're an hour and a half away from home, and you're not going to get any time back until Monday. So you do a 34-hour reset on the road. That's what I hate about the E-Log. And in that case, I would probably violate it. I don't know. It's hard to say because it's a bad violation. But what do? You know? that's why it's so critical to do time management. And now, if you don't like to drive and you're happy with 2,000 miles a week, then you let your log run. I'm over here on the shoulder because this road is so chewed up. If I get to where it's smooth and I'm not riding in the grooves, I would be right next to that white line in the middle, and I don't want to impede people there. You know, they just sit there and let their clock run. They get there, they go on duty. Oops, I've been here for an hour and a half on duty because I'm at the shipper, I'm at the receiver. And then come time, hey, we need you to, I don't have the time. My e-log, I don't have any hours left. I'm going to have to take a break. It's all fine and dandy if you're that type of a driver, but what are you doing out here? I'm in it for the money. I want to run all week hard and get back to where I do a 34, either in Denver or Junction. I can do them in Vegas. I can do it at the ocean. I don't want to do it in the middle of the Arizona desert. And then do another one right after that. That's why I went with a small company that now is getting to be a bigger company. No, it's not bad up here. It's 25 degrees. The road's nice. I'll have to call my daughter and find out where she's at, and I won't be able to do that until I get up here, get reception again. And I purposely did shut down last night because this load doesn't deliver till tomorrow, 6 o'clock. 0600, and I couldn't make Denver in straight shot, but I did want to roll through it because there was no snow, roads were dry. I wanted to do, the reason I wanted to do it is because I want to be forced to chain up. I don't need to chain up. If I have to chain up, I will. I'll guarantee you I will, but I don't even need to chain up on this one here. If there was snow on the ground, it was slippery. It'd be close. It'd be on the edge, but I think we could do it. I mean, temperature's not too bad. That's 24 now. But then I was like, I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to have a hard time finding a place to park. There is a place in Silverthorne overlooking Lake Dillon, and I don't mind that, but would it be full? You know, that's the thing. You get over there, now you're full. The next stop is up on top of the tunnel. Still have a little bit of time left, but you can't go too much further, and that little bit that you can go further, there's no parking there. So what do you do? And so I thought about it last night, and I'm like, you know, I can portable shoot now, so I'm just going to shut down now. It was 11:30 at night. I go, I'm just going to shut down now, and I could have ran until 2 in the morning, but I go, I'm just going to shut down now, and then if I have to chain up, I have to chain up. At least it'll give me some more winter footage. That was my thinking. I'm like, if I have to chain up, I have to chain up. Maybe I could do a chain up video. Now, usually they must have cut this down. You can't usually see the rest stop right there in winter because the banks are so high. Anyway, I woke up at 6, and then I was going back to bed, but I checked the chain laws, and they were not up. And then when I finally did get up at about 8:30, they were up. And so I'm like, well, looks like I'll be chaining up. And I didn't leave till about 10:15. And I'm like, well, let's check them again. And they were off. So right now, it's straight up 12:01. Oh, excuse me. That clears the snow off my wipers. Full Jake. Roads are wet. 1800 RPM, 62 mph, 63. Jake off. Back to full Jake again. Drop one gear. Same MPH, but now we're at 1500 RPMs. Speed's kicking up a bit. I'll bring her back down. This is where I was, probably right about here, when the very first time in a semi truck back in '96, I was coming down here, like right here, and I remember this area too because the way the truck went flying by me. This, I don't remember what if it was a flatbed. I remember the truck being black. I don't remember if it was at a trailer, enclosed, or if you had a flatbed. But I was probably doing like 30, and he was probably doing 60. Just boom, right past me. And I was like, man, of course I was a rookie. I'm sure he was seasoned. Like, no, we are seasoned. And I didn't sit there and think, that guy's an idiot. He's crazy. He's this, he's that. I was like, man, how can you do that? How is that possible? And I suppose always in the back of my mind, it's always been like, man, I want to reach that level. I want to reach that level. I want to be... You have to be confident. You have to know what you're doing in order to do that, because it is so easy to wreck, you know? And there's the two differences right there. I was inexperienced, and he was fully experienced. And look at the difference. And now I'm fully experienced. People say I'm crazy. But that's all right, because I am a bit. Copper Mountain. We'll see you in a bit. How quickly things change. Actually, just passed my daughter. She said it was nice. They're like silver throwing up the hill. We just came out of Vail. You saw what that was like. That was fine. We got 28 balmy degrees. That's pretty warm out. We're just cruising at 5.5 double nickel. Piece of cake. So I was at the 194.5, and she said she was at the 201. The 201, I think she was coming up on it. Because we didn't meet until probably the 198. Oh, what do we got going here? All these guys putting on their brakes. Somebody spin out, or just everybody going slow? There's a plow truck up here. So there was a state trooper and a fire truck. See, somebody spun out right here to the left. And then into the median here. And then back across the highway. I've had to do this before. Do what this guy right here is doing. In Granby, Red Dirt Hill. Little SUV, Mitsubishi. This is a lot different than what we went through. We got to beat the chain law going up Eisenhower, Eisenhower. They could be putting it up. She's already driven through some rough stuff. This is a bit challenging. It can be challenging. It is FedEx truck or Alta, whoever it is, running slow with flashers, which is fine. The problem becomes when these guys that are following them decide they don't want to do it as a pride truck. Chains on Loveland Pass. We're not going Loveland Pass. So it looks like we're out of it. Made it through. She made it through just in time. Because I think it's going to get worse in through here. As soon as you get over Vail and get to West Vail, East Vail, you're fine. You're down the mountains. Well, you're fine because usually at high elevations, snow. If it's snowing everywhere, you're not fine. All the way through to Utah to you at St. George. But this is a high elevation snow, so she's fine. And we're all good. See? It's all good. It's good. I better give her a call. See you in a bit. Glad nobody's flying up behind us because they usually are, but we are early for the ski traffic return. We just conk out right there. I know he didn't spin out. So I talked to my daughter and my granddaughter. We drove past them about mile marker 198. They are headed back to Junction. We were headed to Denver. My granddaughter, she's 5, Mila. She's like, my daughter Marilyn goes, Mila wants to say something to you. Papa, we saw you in the big blue truck. I waved, but you didn't see me. And I go, I waved, but your dad has his windows tinted too dark. That's why you couldn't see me. It was so cool because it's something that doesn't happen very often. Pretty rare, I should say, where they are passing me along the highway and they get to see me actually rolling down the road. So Eisenhower Hill, as you can see, boring, no fun, but I'm sure it will be later. Depends on the snow forecasts. 26 balmy degrees. I hope I timed my DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, correctly. I mean, when I got fuel, the last place I got fuel, I looked at the DEF and I'm like, I should have enough. But if you don't, if I don't, I do carry 2.5 gallons jug, one 2.5 gallon jug, a DEF in the side box, so that I am not going to be shut down by or derated because I'm out of DEF. The DEF lasts pretty long. What eats it up faster is what we're doing right at the moment. The heavier you are, it goes through the DEF fast when you're pulling like we are right now. We're just rolling down the highway, even the same weight. But if we're just rolling down the highway, it's not that bad at all. So it does last a long time, and you think you have enough. But like I said, I do carry a spare just in case. So Pete climbing up pretty fast. And he's empty. Oh, you know what? Looks like he hauls either pipe, concrete pipe, or the rail car, the train wheels. So I got to talk with dispatch and see, because I need to be in Junction on the 10th. Today is the 4th. That's 6 days away. I've got 31 hours left. I'd like to possibly do a reset now, and then I can get running again Friday or Saturday morning someplace and turn around and come back. But I'm going to take the week off of the 15th to the 22nd. So we're supposed to move in on the 17th. So I take a week's paid vacation and use it to move. So Loveland Pass goes up a lot higher. This here's the tunnel. And must be snowing pretty decent up there, or it's just snowpack. We got 23 here. Usually it's colder on Vail. I actually should have my flashers on. I don't, but I'm gonna have to change lanes here quick, and the four-wheelers don't like to let us do that, even though the lane is ending. So I'm going to do it now while I have a break. You see, the lane ends right here. Well, right there, but you know what I mean. Been at this point right here before where we start spinning, but our momentum keeps us going, and then you'll have a car slow down, and that's what happens. They'll go so slow, they'll cause the truck to slow down, then lose even more traction. Then the truck spins out. Now you have a truck spun out on the highway. Had that car kept rolling at a decent speed, the truck could have made it. But those are some of the issues that you have to deal with. We'll see what she looks like on the other side. Turn off our flashers. Eisenhower Tunnel. Wonky wipers. I was going to shut it off and wait till we got to the end, but some people do like the tunnel ride. So here we are. So I think that we can make the yard with the depth that we have left. I mean, it's just hitting the red. So I don't want to stop and put any in if I don't have to. If I have to, I will, of course, but it's, I don't know, because it'll say, we'll derate soon. You are past your limit. So what do you think it's going to be like on the other side here? Snowy? Just partly cloudy and wet. It won't be sunny, but it could be, because the Continental Divide is above our head. Bridge is icy, so it's snowy. Similar to what we just came out of. Icy road, 31 degrees. It's not icy. 29, it dropped quick. I think it was just inside the tunnel. 28. Yeah, it's 27. She be dropping quick. They put so much mag chloride on here. I'm surprised the rivers don't turn into saltwater rivers. 25 degrees. Full on Jake, 1700 RPM, 60 mph. APOC, a piece of cake. But I hope it's decent weather in Denver. I would like to drive the V today. A few errands to make. I haven't driven it in like a month and a half. Having withdrawals. I have my summer tires on, but I am set up to switch over to winter tires, like really quick. Floor jack and cordless impact wrench. And TPMS, which is tire pressure monitoring system relearn tool. So we're all set up. But I prefer not to do that. But we'll just see. I'll have to think about whether I want to drive it or not. I mean, there's no question there. I want to drive it. But whether I should or not. Anyway, we'll call this video good. Hey, much more fun now. But thanks again for riding shotgun with Mountain Man Mike. I hope you enjoy. Until the next time, peace. Slow wagon and fast traffic. Mexican Overdrive. See ya.